know that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an annual campaign to raise awareness about the impact of breast cancer. You are watching The Dose here on 3K TV. Last week, we were joined by Mr. Richard Mutingwende, and we talked about what breast cancer is, the causes, and the treatment options. This week, we are going to continue the conversation. Mr. Richard Mutingwende, thank you so much for joining us again.
My pleasure. Thank you for hosting me.
All right. I know that last week we spoke about what breast cancer is, but to refresh the viewers' minds, what is breast cancer?
Breast cancer, we are talking of a breast as a gland. In fact, it's a sweat gland that is modified so that when you are a female, it produces milk. So when we say breast cancer, we are saying there are cancerous cells on the breast. The human body is made up of cells, and these cells have different functions. Then when your cells forget to do their functions, then they concentrate or they spend much of their time reproducing. Then they develop tumors in the affected area. Then you have a lump, you feel a lump in your breast. So that's a breast cancer, whereby you have abnormal cells on the tissues of the breast. Then that's breast cancer.
All right, so let's talk about the causes of breast cancer.
When it comes to the causes, there is no single cause of breast cancer because we are surrounded by what we call carcinogens. Carcinogens are things or substances that can cause cancer, be it in the food that we eat, because what we eat can be the slowest form of poison, be it at our workplaces, because we are surrounded by things that can emit radiation, be it at our homes or in our relationships, social relationships. So when it comes to possible causes of breast cancer, there are so many. There are things that may interfere with your endocrine system. Endocrine system, that's the system that is responsible for releasing hormones. In fact, when we talk of breast cancer, we are talking of hormones such as estrogen and other hormones such as progesterone. These hormones will then cause your cells to become abnormal, then you have breast cancer. So there are things or substances that can mimic the estrogen or your hormones, such as pesticides. In the past, people, they used to say women are not allowed to go in mining areas where there are heavy chemicals, or in industrial areas where there are heavy chemicals, or in farming areas where there are chemicals, because the chemicals can actually mimic the hormones in women, especially estrogen. Then you end up with issues such as breast cancer. Not only breast cancer, but when you are exposed to chemicals such as pesticides, such as even toxic ingredients in certain cosmetics, you develop uterine disorders such as fibroids, uterine fibroids, endometriosis, and so many things that interferes with your endocrine system. So being exposed to things that mimic your natural system, such as pesticides, that's a possible carcinogen. And also exposure to cigarettes. It's not necessarily that you have to smoke cigarettes to be affected by the cigarettes, but if you are staying with someone who smokes a cigarette, that second-hand smoke is more dangerous than the first-hand smoke, because there are more than 70 known or listed carcinogens in tobacco. That cigarette, and each time you puff a cigarette, it takes about 7 minutes of your life. So being exposed to smokers or to cigarettes can actually interfere with your natural system. Then you end up with things such as cancer, all types of cancers, even the lung cancer, the breast cancer, the prostate cancer. So exposure to cigarettes, and also consumption of alcohol. It's not advisable for women to take too much alcohol. At least just a glass of alcohol per day is recommended for women, because too much consumption of alcohol can not only weaken your immune system, but it exposes you to things such as cancer. Also, consumption of charred meat. I'm talking of of goji, that's the charred meat, because when you expose meat, especially beef, to very high temperatures, it produces a chemical which is carcinogenic, and that chemical can actually cause cancer in both men and women. So it's not advisable to cook, especially using very, very high temperatures. Even to use such things such as microwaves. It's discouraged to use such things because of very high temperatures. And also when it comes to the food we eat, we always say what we eat programs our body with the messages of healthy or illness. It's not highly recommended to take highly refined foods, especially with too much sugar or with added sugar, because sugar weakens your immune system. Under normal circumstances, when a cell becomes abnormal, when it becomes cancerous, your immune system is supposed to destroy that cell. Or even before your immune system destroys the cell is supposed to commit suicide. So it's always good to keep our immune system boosted by avoiding things such as sugar. Sugar isn't good for our body because it's even difficult to digest, and it weakens our immune system, and it promotes the growth of cancerous cells in our body. So we should stay away from sugary foods or added sugar in certain foods. Then it comes to the issue of beverages. A lot of people nowadays, they are taking beverages. Beverages comes with artificial sweeteners, with artificial ingredients, and also the too much amounts of sugar in beverages makes you obese, or you become overweight. So being obese or being overweight, that's a risky factor for breast cancer. You are likely to develop breast cancer if your body mass index is above 25, if you are overweight. So we should stay away, especially from commercial beverages. Then water should be our primary beverage, as well as fruits. And also the issue of things that interfere with your hormones. Remember, I said breast cancer is about the issue of hormones. We should minimize the use of certain contraceptives, since they interfere with our endocrine system and with our body, and this may also even promote types of cancer such as breast cancer. There comes also issues to do with lifestyle. Sometimes we take sleep for granted. It's good to get 8 good hours of sleep. So we need to sleep, because when we deprive our body of good quality sleep, it compromises our immune system, it causes hormonal imbalances, and breast cancer is about issues to do with hormones. So when you have issues such as hormonal imbalance because you deprive of your body of enough sleep, you can develop issues such as breast cancer. So as you can see, there's no single cause of breast cancer. There are so many things that can expose people to breast cancers, including the environment that we work. Sometimes we work like with the electronic devices, with the electronic gadgets. They emit radiation that can also cause or expose us to issues such as cancer. So,
all right, on that note, we will take a short break. Please join us after this.